Well, we imagine a world where social change agents and change makers of all walks of life, anywhere on the planet, are able to tap into the profound power of technology and the connected world, really, to impact lives. And so if you think about TechSoup and our mission, it's really about creating a dynamic bridge that connects civil society organizations, civil society social benefit organizations on one side, really with resources, anywhere in the world that help them design and implement technology for a better, more equitable planet. So from a mission perspective, in a way, resources, technology, and connecting non-profits all over the world is really at the heart of what TechSoup does. To date, that's been fantastic. We've had more than 800,000 non-profit organizations who we've been able to help in some shape or form. And then if we look at what the impact of that is, it's probably the equivalent of just under $6 billion worth of resources that have gone into the sector with the help of TechSoup and their partners. So it's my task to make sure that we use our data set in such a way that it progresses civil society in many places by creating services over those data, over the data sets. That could be things like vetting services, growing our data set with more validated nonprofits for various reasons. It could also be displaying the data sets in different ways or allowing people to research it and slice and dice it and gain access to the sector in various parts of the world. There was a point in time for me, probably 5 years ago, when I started to engage future processing. And if I look at why that happened, is that the space that we are in as an organization, we need to attract talent, we need to retain talent, we want to offer people career paths in the technology as a part of TechSoup to achieve our mission. And there are times where you're going through growth as an organization. There are times where you have the need for a partner who can come alongside with you and establishes maybe a new program, or there's some funding available to do a particular piece of work. And that, what I call that sort of elasticity that we need in our workforce, really requires a partner who feels motivated and is able to offer us the right quality of resources to expand or reduce our workforce where that is needed. And so, I got to a point where I felt the need to do that. TechSoup was already engaged with future processing other areas, and it felt the right thing to engage. Now, there are other reasons for me, to look at what I would refer to as nearshoring, if I can call it that. There is, for me, there is something about having a better overlap in time zone, especially with the UK. We're only 1 hour away from each other. That makes it a lot easier to work together rather than looking for other places for partners maybe further out in the world. I also feel culturally there is a better overlap. And so I was looking for something that would give me the right resources of the right quality with some cultural alignment to what we were doing and our mission, in a way that wouldn't be too far away from me, if I can put it that way. My direct involvement, I think, with future processing is really involved 4 key product suites that we've worked with you guys. It's the Guides to International websites, which is a complex code set for what it's supposed to do. And it took best part of probably half a year for the team to really pick that up and become proficient. But once we've achieved that, we managed to stabilize it. There have been improvements suggested. So I think we've progressed the stability of that platform. Then we had an application that we refer to as the NGOK, as in RUNGOK kind of app. A new area with a new line of business that is all to do with TechSoup's validation services. And we had a couple of members of staff on the team from Future Processing who really helped us, create an app that really was helping us to take us to market. And they were creating things for our first customers. This has now been around 2-3 years. We created a prototype. It was first adopted by the World Bank, who was one of our first customers. And we got some really good feedback, and we evolved the product. We were able to bring that to market, and actually that now has evolved into becoming a bigger service line that really gives TechSoup a substantial amount of revenue to sort of sustain ourselves. So the team's been directly involved in helping to grow that, and that's been really great. Then we have NGO Source, which is a product for foundations and grant makers in the US. One of the first launches that I had to do within TechSoup after I arrived. And NGO Source is extremely successful in the way it's running now. We work with all of the major large grant-making foundations in the US. And so NGO Source has been benefiting a lot from Future Processing staff and involvement. I think there's been a lot of testing of the testing practices. Quality assurance has been involved. There's some complexities in the way NGO Source is set up that's helped really a lot to get your resources into testing the components and all of the rollout. And NGO Source out in the world is connected with our partner platform, our platform that processes technology donations in country. It's attached to that, so it was also an integration exercise. And so Future Processing really helped us to get that program out. It was a program that really had a peak in needs. There was a lot of testing going on. There was a development cycle. And that's doing really well now. And I think so, again, it's a good example of where we partnered. The very last one I want to talk about then that I had some direct involvement myself was Bridge. The Bridge project is not necessarily a TechSoup only project. It's a project that brings together the 4 organizations, Global Giving, Foundation Center, GuideStar in the US, and TechSoup. And the 4 of us came to a point where we felt that it was really important for the sector to have a recognized global identifier for each nonprofit entity in the world. And so the concept of Bridge really is that if you have a unique identifier for any kind of nonprofit on the planet, then interoperability projects that would go across 2 data sets of such organizations will become a lot easier, as you are able to connect records of the same organization through the Bridge IDs. Now, the challenge there was, of course, that we had to bring together the data of all those 4 organizations into one place and then assign these unique Bridge IDs to all of the unique organizations that were in the 4 data sets. And we needed to build the capability to do that, a product that didn't exist. And so in that particular project, Future Processing played a slightly different role from some of the other projects because there was much more leadership that was put forward around product management. There was more ownership over and accountability in a way over owning the results of the project together. But there was also the need to kind of manage, if you like, 4 partners, 4 equal partners, and its decision-making and governance through a project of about a year. And I think that in itself was quite a challenge, and I think Future Processing did a fantastic job. And Bridge went live, I guess, in the public eye earlier this year. And and is up and running, and it's being used for interoperability projects to date. And Future Processing is still, from a support and maintenance perspective, looking after what we've created there. It's kind of value and quality for money, if I can put it that way. So from my perspective, I feel we've always had really good, intelligent resource that were able to do the job in an effective and efficient way together with us, but also in a cost-effective way. So I think, kind of using the territory and the place where future processing is, and how and what you can offer us in terms of a workforce versus the the financial commitment that needs to bring from us. That's really in balance for us. It's cost effective. It's helped us. So that means, we had a smaller team, but we had an equally very effective team. And so to draw a parallel, I was able to replace sort of 2.5 internal resources with 2.5, 3 future processing resources. Now, if I had to take that further out, I probably would have to replace it with 6 resources to get the same sort of level of productivity. So, this says something about the way we work together. This says something about how we can align ourselves in the way we do our business. And it says something about the quality of the future processing staff that we've seen coming onto our project. It's been a consistent, on the ground, good kind of really set of hands and eyes that really are smart and willing to work with us. Well, for me, the journey that I've been on the last 5 years in TechSoup, future processing has been a great partner. And I think, I'm not saying that just because I've seen some fantastic staff who are very talented coming onto projects that really help me shape and drive and run new services for the sector. And I'll give you examples. So the rollout for Microsoft, the rollout for Google for Nonprofits all over the world wouldn't have been possible if future processing wasn't into the frame and helping us designing and roll out the applications. And so your engineers, your testing practices, your leaderships, the flexibility to work with us where that is needed, flowing with us in our mission has been fantastic. And I've really thoroughly enjoyed the relationships that we've built. It's also been encouraging to see future processing's growth over the years and see the company to be so successful in many ways. All I can say is that the growth of TechSoup and certainly the services that I've been involved with have greatly been helped by your support, bringing some of these new services out to the marketplace and really helping nonprofits connecting with the resources that they deserve. And so in a way, for us to deliver on the profound sort of promise of technology into the sector and helping nonprofits is at the heart of our mission, but I feel future processing has been a part of that too. And so helping other charities, I think has been part of our mutual journey, I guess.